We're discussing the customer data-driven journey and how we improve data and data technologies to bring marketing efficiencies. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to restate what we went through. I want to get to Mauro, who's going to give a demonstration of our various capabilities that are built into the CRM. One quick point, everything we do that's powered, whether it be the advanced analytic models or our ability to data enrichment, leverages a significant volume of data that sits in the platform. We have over 1 trillion data attributes on businesses and consumers, which includes details on the business, i.e. firmographic data, financial characteristics, technology utilized within the organization, to information on the business decision makers. What are their characteristics? What are their job titles? What are their personal attributes? What are their activities and interests? These types of details that help sales reps build a rapport with their folks they're looking to close business with. All of this data powers very powerful advanced machine learning models that do a fabulous job predicting what are the characteristics and who is most likely to buy various products and services. In sales, there are a handful of primary problems that are being faced. Number one, identifying the right prospects. It's difficult to identify prospects. Once you find the right prospects, reaching these prospects can be a challenge. People use email frequently. They don't give out their direct phone numbers. How do we optimize communication to reach the best prospects? Once reaching these prospects, frequently they don't respond. Most likely because they're not interested or they're not heavily targeted, meaning have we identified the best prospects? At the end of the day, if you can identify the best prospects and you can reach those folks, more deals will ultimately close. Versium Predict goes a long ways towards solving many of these problems by building various data technology solutions into the CRM. What does this mean for users of Dynamics? It means they get unlimited access to data. Data on businesses, data on business decision makers, data on consumers for folks who have both B2B and B2C business models. The data enrichment and the modeling that leverages the data that we make available through Dynamics, through our OEM integration, serves both business customers as well as folks looking to target consumers. And the data on both businesses and consumers provides rich insights that help understand who the decision maker is and what are their characteristics. And then the ability to do automated AI-based modeling, where we take the intelligence of who has bought in the past and with a very thin layer of data, i.e. a sample of who purchased, we can append vast volumes of data and put it into advanced AI-based machine learning algorithms to build a predictive model to then score records within the CRM as to their propensity to buy or inject new highly targeted prospect lists for sales and marketing to pursue. All of this is made available at no cost to Dynamics users by simply downloading Versium Predict from within the Dynamics application. So now we're going to talk about real briefly, and Mauro more importantly is going to show you with the demonstration 10 different ways we're helping to supercharge Dynamics 365, all available at no cost to users of the application. Number one, business and decision maker search. The ability to look up specific businesses or look up specific business individuals to help address the problem of identifying prospects. Number two, the ability to get alerts on news or other factors affecting prospects that may impact buying decisions. Are they hiring? Are they laying off? Are there occurrences that indicate a change in desired propensities or activities? And these can be tracked and alerted when occurrences occur. Number two, helping to improve the quality of the data that exists within the CRM. Prospect lists get outdated. There are errors and omissions during entry. So we have automated the ability to provide a validation score as to the quality of an existing prospect list and then improve it through data hygiene capabilities, where we do address standardization, where we fix errors and omissions, all via automation. that we clean the data and that we allow research and search and insights. We want to deliver these insights into the CRM where we can put information in such as number of employees, financial characteristics, attributes that might create priorities for who to target. Targeting a business that has more employees for a sell package may be more important than less employees, for example. Not only is business insights on the specific target business important in a B2B campaign, but also the characteristics of the business decision maker. In today's world, it's about building a relationship with the person you're looking to close business with. So understanding who they are as a human being, what are their activities and interests. Maybe they like golf, and you can start building a rapport and relationship by really understanding the human behind business decision maker. These same attributes in a B2C scenario help drive buying propensity as we start modeling these type of data attributes. Oftentimes, corporate hierarchy or org chart can be crucial. Who is not only the decision influencer, but the decision maker? Who do they report to? Who reports into this organization so that we can approach various folks in the buying process? Or maybe possibly a decision maker leaves the organization. This often happens. Who's the next person to contact? Do we understand the association of a parent and a subsidiary within an enterprise organizational structure? All of these data elements we are putting and building into Dynamics. While you can do the research within the application, you can also import various components directly in and added fields, added data elements into each individual records or in bulk. The real power starts becoming the ability to do AI-based modeling, where we take a sample set of who won, closed lost, who purchased in the past, and we use it to train advanced models that look at thousands and thousands of columns of data to then be able to create a score where that score represents who's most likely to buy. The higher the score, the more likely a particular prospect is to engage with the opportunity. Those same models can be used to generate new prospect lists that can be injected directly into the CRM. A list of IT decision makers at companies of a certain size that have been modeled to be most likely buyers of a particular product and service. For those folks who are not, don't have training data or who are not ready for AI-based model, we're putting in pre-built lists available at no charge. IT decision makers, marketing decision makers, CEOs or C-level executives across the country. Decision makers at Soho businesses are some examples of pre-built lists that are a precursor to AI-based models that provide rich, robust data of who are the most likely buyers and prospects for sales and marketing to pursue. All of these things in total leverage vast volumes of data and advanced analytic modeling to help supercharge the CRM, to make the workflow of sales and marketing more effective and ultimately to drive improvements in conversion rates. Without further ado, and apologize for the slight delay given our technical difficulty, I'm going to turn it over to Mauro Rizzi, one of our product managers here at Versium. He works with many leading organizations that are using Dynamics and using these various tools that I've articulated, and he's going to go through now a demonstration and show you these things within the application. Mauro.
Thank you very much, Chris, and hello, everybody. I'm going to start this journey of discovery by, first of all, showing you where you can install Predict for Dynamics 365. Predict is a solution that is available today in the App Source. So by going on the App Source, you will be presented with several of the applications that you can install and embed within Dynamics. Versium Predict is one of those. You see it here in the showcase application. You click Get It Now. You follow through the various steps of agreeing the terms of use and everything else. And the solution is going to be then installed within Dynamics itself. Once it is installed, the solution is going to appear in the main navigation ribbon of Dynamics. So we have an entry point right here. By clicking on it, it's going to show you the various entry points of the various features that I'm going to go through and showcase today. And we're going to start the journey by going through the dashboard. Just a quick note, the first time that you launch Predict within Salesforce, you're going to be asked to authenticate. Now, this is a one-off authentication, and you should be able then to load it and use it. We offer several types of authentication, just for those of you that are in administrative positions there. We also offer the ability for the administrator to sign in for all and authenticate for all users in an enterprise. This is to allow a more thorough installation and rollout of our product. So we're going to start our journey here from the dashboard. The dashboard is the entry point where we show all the jobs that have been completed within Predict as well, but it's also the entry point of many of all the features of Predict. We're going to start this journey here by discovering the search. We have a search feature that is divided for business and people. And I'm going to just go and show you how to perform a quick and simple search for a company name. I'm going to type in Microsoft. And right here, what is happening is that Predict is performing a live query to the Versium Live Data Backend and displaying right here the results. From here, the user can see the headquarters and identify the headquarters and the various subsidiaries. Can see already the first type of information, and by using this link here on the right, can import this data. Being a company, it can be imported as an account within the CRM. But I'm going to want to go and drill down deeper and understand a little bit more what Microsoft data is available. By clicking the name, the user is going to be presented with a set of insight cards, and these insights provide additional information. We have the business card, the how am I connected. I have imported in Predict all my connections from LinkedIn, and I can see here how am I connected with Microsoft by seeing the context that I have in my profile. I have an employee list. The employee list, it's a fully dynamic list of employees that we detect from Microsoft. We can filter out by various levels, and the name can be directly clicked or imported into the CRM. I'm going to show you this in a few minutes. We have a firmographic card and a business financial. In addition to that, we have a similar business card. This is something that we detect in our backend. We have a lot of attributes. We have our data science team here that create powerful algorithms that go and detect the information about the attributes we have for Microsoft in this case and find what are the similar businesses. Again, these are fully dynamic. I can click on it, and the insights of that business is going to appear, or I can choose to import it. We have standard business scores. Now, these are proprietary scores. As I just mentioned earlier, we have a data science team here that go and read and create an algorithm by looking at the attributes for Microsoft here. We can go and find out and create scores about its financial strength score and the social presence score. The final two insights are more from a social presence. The first one is regarding the social activity that Microsoft performs both on Facebook and Twitter. The user can go and select the feed to follow. And the final one is the business news. Business news, I'm going to show you a little bit later. It's updated on a daily basis so I can be up to date on what is happening. But let's dive deeper in a couple of these insight cards that are useful for the users. The first one is the business financial. For big companies, we go in and detect all the financial activities, and we display it in this tab. Being Microsoft, one of the biggest companies out there, we also have the organizational chart. This is something that Chris mentioned earlier in his presentation. We have the ability here for many of the public companies to detect the relationship between the headquarters and the various subsidiaries. By representing these in a dynamic chart, I see here the various subsidiaries. Again, these are clickable links. If I click on one of them, I'm going to be presented with the insights card of that particular subsidiary. The last two tabs that provide me additional information are the social tab. Again, here I can go and select a specific feed to follow, so that every time that I open this particular account, Microsoft is going to be presented with that feed. In a similar way, I can go and select also a Twitter handle so that I can follow it. Finally is the news. This is something that we go and refresh every day, and we divide the category that we find for the company into various categories. The categories can also be followed by creating an alert. So the user can go and create an alert on a specific category that I wish to follow. By clicking update, it's going to be recorded in my profile. And anytime that I receive a news update within Predict, this little section here that says news alert, we have a little bell. It will fill up and filled. By clicking on it, I will be brought into the news alert management system of Predict, where I see all the companies I'm following and the updated news. But let's go back again to our Microsoft Insight. One of the things that we offer is the ability to import data and make this data part of the local CRM. I have here a link, Add to CRM, where the user with a simple click is able to go and create an account and import the main fields that are available for Microsoft. So I can either pick and choose or select them all and create the record. Let me show you now how we go about researching decision makers. So we offer the ability within Predict to perform a search about people, both consumer and business people. For a business scenario, we can type in directly the name of the person that we're looking for, Satya Nadella, click search. We obtain immediately a result from our backend, and again, by clicking on it, I will go and discover insights of Mr. Nadella. Now, Mr. Nadella is the CEO of Microsoft, so most of these insights that I'm seeing are the same as the one that I've displayed earlier by looking and researching Microsoft. So I discover that there is how am I connected, the business details, the employee list, and the business news. But we have where we can also differentiate the result by providing, for example, the social and the Twitter handle for Mr. Nadella directly, and of course his direct business contact. And where we can, we also provide his email. Now, since I'm looking for a person, the difference here is that we show the organizational hierarchy, so the org chart of the company. So here I see the top level of Satya as being the CEO with his direct reports. And I can go in and click on a direct report to discover additional insight. Again, it's a fully dynamic list that I can go and click to drill down on the organization. Here I brought up the Executive Vice President of Human Resources, Kathleen Hogan. I see here the insights of Mrs. Hogan. And again, from here I can go and discover even further the org chart, where I can go up again in the next level. From here, I can add that person to the CRM. Now, being a person, I can import this as a lead or a contact. By importing it, the system will automatically detect if this person should be linked with Microsoft or not. If Microsoft is not present as an account within the CRM, it's going to offer me the possibility to create that account as well. In this case, it's been detected because I already have Microsoft Corporation as an account, so I can import this person directly, and it's going to be part of the CRM. The final part about the search is that we offer the ability to perform searches for consumers. So similar to before, I can type in the consumer name. I'm putting here a very generic high-level name. I get the result. And again, I can drill down and obtain the insights of that specific consumer. To note here, we have an interest and activity section. Again, this is something that we detect on the back end by using our powerful algorithm. We detect the various activities and provide them as an additional insight to the user. One final item that I want to make sure to show is to perform a search for decision makers within a company itself. So going back again into the people search for business, I can type the name of a company. the Boeing company here. I can see here all the employees that we have listed for Boeing. But if I wish to go, for example, and find an executive level in the marketing team, I can filter and add those additional filters within the query, click search, and I'm going to then be presented with the list of those employees that match that query. Moving on, I want to show you how we provide the insights to an existing record within the CRM. So I have here Microsoft as a record. I have an account. This is data that I have for Microsoft is a record that is residing in my CRM. By installing Predict, we offer the ability to enrich the experience of the data that the user has. So we add two small iframes that perform a live query every time that I pull up the data of Microsoft. The first one is right here on the right-hand side. We call it the heads-up display. It's giving me a high-level detail of the match that was found. So it has found Microsoft. This is the data at Versium side. It has compared it at high level, and it's saying with a validation grade is informing me that the data that I have in my record matches the one that I have at the Versium side. But more importantly, if I scroll down, I am presented with the same insights cards that I have discovered earlier by performing a simple search, but these are embedded within the CRM itself so that I can enrich the experience of the user opening a local record. This data is not part of the CRM, but is available as a live view of the data that's present.
You actually did sign it before, but I just hasn't been executed.
From here, the user has the ability to also update the CRM record. So meaning that if I click update to the CRM, I am presented with a interface where it's going to display on one side the data that is available at Microsoft Versium and the one that is available in Dynamics. I can compare the two and see where I'm missing. For example, in this case, I'm missing the zip code and the SIC code. I can click update, and those two fields are going to be automatically imported and saved within my CRM record. This feature is available for accounts, contacts, leads, and opportunities within Dynamics 365 Online. Now, I'm going to move forward here, and I'm going to go and talk more about what we provide from a data enrichment features. Now, I'm going to go very quick on these two in particular so that I can concentrate more a little bit in the predictive analytics. We offer two both list features for adding and validating lists. So the scenario is I may have a list within my CRM, a marketing list, that I do not know how good the data is. What I can do is I can give that data to Predict. Predict is going to match it with the live data backend and compare it and provide me with a validation rate, tell me how good the data is. All of these features that I'm going to describe now, they start here on the top left menu bar. And they all, every time that I start with a wizard so that the user is going to be explained what the feature does and walks step by step to complete that feature. The first one is validate list. Validate list is where I can provide the consumer or a business list. And the list is in the form of a dynamic or static marketing list or as a view within Dynamics. And specific data is going to be validated. Now, I'm not going to go through the steps here just for the sake of time, but the end result is going to be something like this. This is a list that I have provided to Predict. It has performed a validation of all the items in it, and it's returning to me a result and saying, your list is validated as a D, and it's divided into 48% with grade B and so forth. I can then take this data here and assuming that I do not have very good data and I'm missing a lot of information, I can give it back to Predict to add insights. So the second feature here is add insights, where I am providing a list to Predict, either consumer or business. And Predict is going to perform a match and we'll be able to add where we're missing or outdated, for example, the consumer, the address, the phone number, the email address, and for the businesses, additional information. Containing also the email address, the SIC code, the demographic, and financial. The end result is going to be something similar to this chart where it's telling me that it was able to match 85% of the list, and the data have been added into the CRM. In case I wish, at the end of the process, the data is never added automatically into the CRM. Always a user intervention is required. In that case, the user can leverage the add button. This is specifically a business list. The user is presented with all those fields that can be imported within the CRM, and the user needs to choose how those fields are imported. They can be ignored, they can only be added for empty fields, or update the existing one. After making that selection, the user is presented with a before and after view, then going to be prompted to understand that the process is going to bulk overwrite the fields. Once that is agreed, the process will begin. And at that point, the list is going to be all updated within the CRM with fresh data coming from Versium. Now I'm going to switch gear and talk a little bit about predictive AI models. What Predict offers is the ability to look at a past campaign and learn from it and create a predictive behavioral model using our machine AI learning algorithms. So the scenario is this one. Imagine I was working in a financial company selling business credit cards to companies in B2B. I start with a list of 10,000 leads. I reach out to all of them. And at the end of my campaign, I will have some that will purchase my credit card and some have not. I'm going to call those converters and non-converters. Now, if I give the converters and non-converters list to Predict, I can create a predictive behavioral model that tells me and informs me what were those criteria that made it possible for those people to convert. What do they have in common? If I am able to select that and understand that, I can apply those data and those insights to a future campaign so that I can target the same exact companies that have the same exact behavioral patterns so that I can be more successful in my next campaign. To generate a predictive behavioral model, we start with a feature of build models. Again, I'm starting with a wizard where I'm informed that I need a success and non-success list. I can create a predictive model for consumer by using contact and leads, and for businesses by using contact, leads, and account. I have minimum requirement of data that I need. In order to create a good, statistically sound predictive model, I need a lot of data, and the table here depicts exactly what are the minimum requirements. To build a model, I just proceed. In this case, I'm going to select business. I'm going to choose my previous campaign. I had my credit card converters from my previous campaign. I had my credit card non-converters. And then I'm going to type in the model name. And this is all it Predict needs to create a predictive model. What's happening here on the background is that two lists are given to Predict. They're matched with the data at Versium side. Once a record is matched, we append thousands of additional attributes for each and every single record. Once that process is completed, we have our own machine learning AI algorithm that is going to go and look at every single attribute and start finding patterns and weighing them. The end result is going to be a chart like this one that is going to show me, what is the expected performance of the model. Now, this process is going to take a good 40 minutes to complete, and so I'm going to show you something that was already pre-made. By looking at this chart, I can identify that if I use this to score a list of leads, those leads that score between 90 and 100 are likely to convert 2.05 times more than the average. Those between 80 and 90, 89, 1.13, and so forth. So what this is telling me is that if I use this model to score a list of leads, I can focus my campaign to those leads that score from 70 and above, because these are the likely accounts that are going to convert. We offer a lot of insights in here. I can go and dynamically change my score so that I can identify exactly what is the projected conversion rate and compare it to a previous campaign. And for those of you interested, We also offer a lot of information about how the model was created by providing the ROC charts, the lift chart, and the cumulative gains chart. Now that I have completed my model, what I can do is apply this to a future campaign, a future list of leads that I'm about to reach out for the same campaign, and score them. To do that, we use the score lead feature. Very simple. I just provide the name of the list that I want to go and score. I have my credit card lead ready for there. I'm going to put in my model that I have created, and off it goes. What is happening here is that the list is passed to Predict. Predict is going to match it, every single one with the live data backend. Thousands of attributes are going to be appended for each and every single record. And then the model comes into play, and it's going to go and find and select those leads that match the predictive model that we have created earlier. And they're going to be scored accordingly. The end result is going to be a chart like this one that is going to show me how the scores are distributed in that list. It's going to tell me, hey, Predict was able to score all my 988 leads. I remember if I had a score threshold of 70 and above, I was in that sweet spot of the highest conversion rate. And here, now I have the details. If I select the score threshold of 70 and above, I'm going to be using only 406 leads instead of 988, with an expected conversion rate of 1.74, an expected 8 people are going to convert. Now, all of these leads have been scored within their record. So I can go and open up every single record within the CRM and see a Versium score associated to it. Or administrators can download a CSV file that we offer conveniently here in the Actions button, where the users can go and see immediately the list of leads that were provided with their relative score on this last column. Now, this is one of the two scenarios that I can perform with a predictive model. The second one covers a very interesting and peculiar scenario, which is I have created a predictive model from a previous campaign, but now I'm about to reach out, for example, in a different area of the nation where I do not have any lead. I'm going to go on to the East Coast and I'm going to select a city, but I don't know who to target there. Well, Predict comes in handy and helps you with a specific feature called Create List. This is where Predict is able to take the predictive behavioral model that was created earlier and go and allow the user to go and select the geographical boundaries in which I want to go and target my search and find and prospect new leads that match the behavioral model that I have given Predict. So in this case, I can go and find a specific city. And type in New York. Here, immediately, I have the ability to see that the records available here are almost or a little above 174,000. I can include the metro area. You will see that that record number is going to increase. I'm going to click the next step. Type the list, the name of marketing list that I wish to save all these new contacts in. I'm going to choose a size of account that I wish to create. And we have a limit that is of 10,000, but mainly because Dynamic cannot create a list that is greater than 10,000. Rest assured that you can run this process as many times as you wish because it's unlimited data, so you can run a process now for 10,000 and then another one for another 10,000 later. We also offer the ability to focus even further the research. In this case, I am creating a list of accounts, so it's a B2B list, and I can go and select and target those companies with a specific number of employees, with a specific sales volume, with a specific location type, or a specific SIC code. So, for example, I wish to target those accounts or those industries that work in a specific industrial area. I click the next step. I have the summary of my view here. The Add to CRM checkbox is checked, meaning that all those records that are going to be found are going to be saved in the CRM within a list, and then I start creating the marketing list. Now this is going to take a good half an hour, 30 minutes to complete. But the end result is going to be something like this, a chart that tells me I have created, Predict is telling me, a list of 2,000 leads with the selected geographical area of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee. I did this last week using this model. The end result is that I have saved 2,000 leads they all range of a score between 87 and 100 with an average score of 92, and we give the expected performance of 2.11. If I go and open up my CRM, I have a list called UCC list in there with all those people in there. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to download the CSV. I'm going to show you the raw data that was performed. So in here, I have a full list of brand new leads generated by Predict with their name, address, phone number, zip code, and everything. As this is a business list, we also provide the highest ranking officer that we find for that specific company, the SIC code, and of course the score that was used and given by our predictive model. Now, this concludes my presentation and a high-level overview of Predict. Of course, there are many more little features in here. I give you my full availability if you wish to have a more deep dive demo for you and your team to reach out to us, and we can organize one specifically to cover your needs. And at this point, we have enough time to go and cover any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Mauro, and thank you, Chris. And apologies again, everyone, for the audio issues in the beginning. Thanks so much for your patience with that. Not sure what happened there. So as Mauro said, we'd love to open it up for questions. And so we have a few here, and continue to type any if you think of more. So first question is a great question. How do you turn it on? How do you activate Predict for Dynamics 365?
So this one here, I showed it at the very beginning in my demo. Predict for Dynamics 365 is available today on the Dynamics app source. So all you have to do is go within the app source. You can search for Versium Predict there and follow the instruction on how to install it and activate it within Dynamics 365. This can be done again today, and it's available for free.
And actually, with that, I just pasted a couple of links in the chat box. And one of them is a link that goes directly to AppSource where you can install Predict. So check that out there. So we have another question here. Does the solution work with UK data, and how up to date is it?
Yes, so this is Mauro again. The solution, this is a great question. Predict is available in over 100 countries worldwide, and we do support the United Kingdom. In addition to that, just this summer, we were able to import and refresh all of the companies from the official government UK registrar. So we imported all that, and it's embedded within our data, so the data is pretty much up to date, and it's available, again, readily available for our users in the UK.
Great. Excuse me, we have another great question here. So this person has been using and loving, as they mentioned, Versium Predict. Any way to get company news auto-emailed to the account owners via Versium?
So this is a feature that we have in our pipeline. Unfortunately, Dynamics does not have a good alert handler system to take the alert and email it. So we're a little bit limited with that, but it's something that we are investigating and talking with the Microsoft team in order to enable it. So as of today, it's only available in the alert section that I showed you within Dynamics, but keep an eye out that we may be able to also enable the email alert system.
Awesome. We've got a lot of questions coming in, actually. see. Can we use Versium Predict for extended and customized data models? And what is the effort cost around it?
Well, by extended, it's Chris Matty answering that one. The way it's set up right now, the models are somewhat fixed based upon convert, not convert data that's been wired into the integration. When we talk about custom models, that can mean many things. I would encourage direct outreach, either to Mauro or the Microsoft, I'm not sure if this is a Microsoft user or a Microsoft individual. We can certainly do a lot of custom modeling. We do that all the time at Versium. If it's not in scope of what's achievable within Dynamics, we certainly can understand. I'd like to understand what type of modeling we're talking about. We can explore if that's something we can do outside of the integration and make a plug-in for this particular example within Dynamics, or whether it's something that we would look as a feature enhancement as we understand what the specific needs are. So I would encourage on this question a follow-up conversation to understand more specifically what is meant by a customized model, which can mean many things.
Great, thanks, Chris. Next question, can you control which features are accessed by specific user groups within Dynamics?
This is a great question. This is Mauro again. Yes, so Predict has an administrative feature that is accessible to the system administrators, where administrators can control which feature or group set of features or group of data is accessible and associated to a specific user group within Dynamics. For example, you may be working on in a company where they access B2B data and do not wish users to go and access B2C data. That can be disabled so that no one can see B2C data at that point. Or you may differentiate the various features. You may have a sales team that has the ability to go and search and discover insights, but not create predictive models. Then you can go and select that specific feature so that the sales team is unable to use it. So they're readily available for all system administrators within Predict.
Great. And we have one last question. What are the sources of your data and how often do you update them?
Great question. We get that question all the time. There are many, many sources of data, so it's a bit complicated to answer. Some of the data is refreshed on a daily basis. Some of it is refreshed on a weekly basis. Some of it is refreshed on a quarterly basis, depending on where the data comes from. 2/3 of the data that is built into our platform is sourced directly by Versium using various technologies, crawl infrastructure, pulling down public records data. There's all sorts of directories that are available. So we do pull down a very significant volume of data. The FBI puts out crime stats, for example, which is a consumer attribute. 2/3 of the data we source using our own technologies. 1/3 of it is sourced commercially, where we buy or license the data, primarily buy, and that can be business record data, that can be data on technologies used within the enterprise. And again, depending on the source of the data, it's constantly being refreshed. And since we do our matching and attribute assignment in real time at runtime versus a forced flat file, it's constantly being updated on an ongoing real-time basis based upon when the new data elements are being added to the system. So it's constantly being refreshed, constantly being updated, and there's some 9,600 files that sit within the platform. One file might be a 20 million business record file. Another file might be a 100 million business contact details file, i.e. professional decision makers. One file might be a 1.2 billion address history file. So there's lots and lots of data that sits within the platform, constantly being refreshed.
Awesome. I think that was our last question. If you think of any more, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, on the one question on the custom modeling, certainly for the individual asking that question, would encourage reaching out to Mauro. We can set up a separate call to understand specifically what the needs may be. We do lots of modeling, and a lot of the same underlying tools and technologies are used that can be configured in different ways to meet different needs.
Great. So I've got a few links up here on your screen, and I pasted this into the control panel. So if you want to learn more about Predict, you can check it out on our website, and that's that first link there. If you're interested in getting straight to downloading it and adding it to Dynamics, you can click the second link, and that'll take you to the App Source page where you can download Predict. If you have any questions specific about Predict, you think of something more, if you want more information, maybe a more personal demo, contact Mauro, and his email address is right here up on the screen, mrizzi@versium.com. And if you have any questions or feedback specifically at the webinar, about the webinar, please don't hesitate to contact me as well at htonio@versium.com. I typed a little chat message earlier. There are a few handouts that I made available to you. You can download those from the control panel. I'll stick around for a minute or two in case anyone needs more time to download those. There's a one-pager about our company, another page about Versium Predict, and another piece of content if you'd like. And that concludes the webinar. Thank you so much again for joining us. And we appreciate your time today. And have a good rest of your day, everybody. Thanks.